the church and the progression of the church, they came together and said, we have to look in the internal content of these scriptures and let the body of Christ know which ones we know are inspired and which ones are not. The fact is that none of these so-called gospels was ever universally accepted by Orthodox Christians or considered a reasonable candidate for inclusion in the canon. All right, very, very good information. All right, so looking here at what early apologist Justin Martyr said. And on the day called Sunday, all who live in cities or in the country gather together in one place. Bars of the apostles or the writings of the prophets are read as long as time permits. So now we're getting into, and I see you, Destiny, we're getting into how did we get the New Testament canon? Destiny, talk to me.
So would it be accurate to say that the quote unquote lost gospels is more like fan fiction? Like people
More
who
like what?
admire fan fiction? Like people just admire these people and wrote in their name?
I wouldn't even call it fan fiction because if you are a fan of Paul, you would not write something that Paul would vehemently disagree with. I can't remember, I don't want to even try to quote it, but the Gospel of Thomas says horrible things about women. So there's no way in the world, if you understand the New Testament, that you would write something and then attribute that to Thomas and say that you are a fan of him by writing something that would actually disagree with what Thomas would believe. So I would just call it a forgery by people trying to gain credibility for themselves, or, and this is what I believe, trying to discredit and cause disunity in the body of Christ. So 30 seconds now. Remember, the only reason that we even have a Bible is because of these lost gospels and different things, these forgeries that started to confuse people in the New Testament, and people were wondering, is this book inspired? Should I give this book the same credibility as I give, these other ones? And so the church came together and said, to protect the body of Christ, we've, as the bishops, the ones who are responsible for the, carrying forward of the church and the progression of the church, they came together and said, we have to look in the internal content of these scriptures and let the body of Christ know which ones we know are inspired and which ones are not.